Hey there folks, tonight we're diving headfirst into a topic that's a bit, shall we say, heavenly. We're talking about heaven, paradise, that great gig in the sky, whatever you want to call it. For centuries, the idea of a blissful afterlife has captivated humanity. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? That pearly gated paradise where the streets are paved with gold and the harps never stop strumming. Across cultures and throughout history, different religions have painted their own unique pictures of the afterlife. Ancient Egyptians, for instance, believed in a complex underworld ruled by Osiris. They even had a handy guidebook, the Book of the Dead, to help navigate the afterlife's bureaucratic hurdles. Meanwhile, the ancient Greeks envisioned Elysium, a blissful realm reserved for heroes and the virtuous. And let's not forget about good old Valhalla, the Norse warriors' paradise, where feasting and fighting were the main attractions. Clearly, the afterlife has always been a source of endless fascination, offering solace, hope, and let's be honest, a healthy dose of existential anxiety. But here's the kicker. What if this age-old promise of paradise has been, well, commercialized? Buckle up, folks, because things are about to get interesting. Now you might be thinking, John, how on earth can anyone commercialize something as abstract as heaven? Oh, my sweet summer child, where do I even begin? The truth is, the business of the afterlife is booming. It's an industry built on hope, fear, and a healthy dose of marketing genius. We're talking about everything from extravagant mausoleums that would make a pharaoh blush, to personalized heavenly experiences that promise to cater to your every whim in the afterlife. And don't even get me started on the booming market for posthumous social media management. Yes, you heard that right. For a small fee, you can ensure your online presence remains as vibrant as ever, even when you're pushing up daisies. But perhaps the most blatant example of afterlife commercialization is the sale of indulgences, a practice that dates back to the Middle Ages. Back then, the Catholic Church offered these get-out-of-jail-free cards, promising to reduce your time in purgatory, a sort of cosmic waiting room, in exchange for, you guessed it, cold hard cash. Now, while the Church has long since condemned the sale of indulgences, the underlying principle remains the same: the promise of a better afterlife, for a price. Alright, let's take a closer look at the players in this afterlife marketplace, shall we? First up, we have the funeral industry, a multi-billion-dollar behemoth that's been around since, well, forever. From elaborate caskets to tear-jerking eulogies, they've got the whole crossing over experience down to a science. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to give your loved ones a proper send-off, it's worth noting that the average funeral in the US can cost upwards of $7,000. That's a lot of dough for a one-way trip. But wait, there's more. For those who prefer a more, shall we say, unconventional approach to the afterlife, there's a whole smorgasbord of options available. Feeling adventurous? Why not have your ashes launched into space? Or perhaps you'd prefer to be compressed into a diamond and worn as a memento by your loved ones. And for the eco-conscious among us, there's always the option of being turned into a tree. Talk about leaving a lasting legacy. The point is, the afterlife industry is nothing if not diverse. And with new technologies and trends emerging all the time, who knows what the future holds? Perhaps one day we'll all be uploading our consciousnesses to the cloud, living out our eternal days as digital avatars in a virtual paradise. Hey, stranger things have happened, right? So where does this leave us? Is heaven a divine reward, or just another cleverly disguised product being peddled by savvy marketers? Well, like most things in life, the answer is probably somewhere in between. It's undeniable that the concept of an afterlife, of heaven, provides comfort and hope to millions around the world. It offers a sense of purpose, a belief that there's something beyond this mortal coil. However, it's also important to be aware of how this very human need for reassurance can be exploited for profit. The afterlife industry, like any other, is driven by supply and demand, and as long as there are people willing to pay for a piece of paradise, there will be those more than happy to provide it, or at least the illusion of it. Ultimately, the question of heaven's existence is a deeply personal one. Whether you find solace in religious doctrine, scientific inquiry, or simply the hope that there's something more to this crazy thing called life, the choice is yours. Just remember to approach the afterlife marketplace with a healthy dose of skepticism and a critical eye. Because when it comes to matters of eternity, it's always wise to read the fine print. That's our show.